My name is Kelly Benjamin, and I am a fellow with an organization called Earth Journalism News. And I have 5 minutes to do it, and I'll try not to be a Debbie Downer about everything. But it looks very beautiful from space. I'm a 5th generation Tampa native, and I care very much about the city that I call home. And this isn't Tico by any stretch, but this is what's happening around us right now. And I want to talk about, you notice that we're surrounded by water, we're at sea level, and we're facing a crisis that is putting us, is that every 15 seconds? That's fast. Anyway, you might recognize that one. This stands to the fact that heavily into the future of this city, if we don't change our ways, we're going to be experiencing something that looks a little bit like this over the next century. You and I might not be around for it, but I'm sure our children and grandchildren will be around for it. And this is an issue that's facing us. And as I think as Bill mentioned a little while ago, we've designed our urban environment, we've designed our cities around sprawling suburbs. We have to drive everywhere to get anywhere. And you know, in post-World War II America, Tampa is a perfect example of this. We've begun to, you know, define our built environment with strip malls, with cul-de-sacs, with, you know, suburban subdivisions. There's a lot of reasons why this sucks, but one of them is that, you know, it dominates our whole lifestyle. It's ugly. It disconnects us. It kills any sense of community. And on top of all of this, the living arrangement is incredibly energy intensive. And according to the United Nations, cities like ours account for 2/3 of global energy use, and more than half of all greenhouse gas emissions, of which 75% comes from cars and trucks, and then the rest comes from that. So basically, the irony surrounding all this is that the very infrastructure that we've created to support our lifestyle here and our habitat for our entire species is slowly destroying our species. Interestingly, like some weird cosmic test for mankind, the very substance that's creating this climate crisis is running out. It's getting more and more expensive to extract, and we won't be able to run our civilization off of it much longer. And people can debate this left and right, and I debate people all the time about it. We can debate later on about it if you want to. But basically, you know, I feel that if you're not convinced of this, you're a Tea Party person, or you're working for the petroleum industry at this point. And it's happening. The world's scientists are in almost unanimous agreement. So what do? Cities the world over have already begun addressing a lot of these problems. Chicago, for instance, has taken leaps and bounds. The urban planners are designing the future climate for the city of Chicago based around, they already have a great mass transit system, but they're basing it off of Chicago is going to feel and look a lot like Baton Rouge, Louisiana in the coming decades. So they're planting trees that typically prefer a hotter, steamier climate. They're doing energy audits. They're planting rooftop gardens. Portland, Oregon is another great example. I throw some sex in there. Portland, Oregon is another great example. A city that has some similarities to Tampa in terms of the sprawl, population size. They've been working on climate change initiatives since the early 90s. They've been building green standard buildings. They have urban forestry initiatives in Portland, Oregon. Energy conservation programs, a great mass transit system, and they have policies in place, long, far-reaching public policy initiatives that promote urban density so people can walk and ride a bike more. It's a much more healthy environment to live in. And I'd like to say that that kind of thing is happening in Tampa, but it's not at all. Our city ranks dead last in mass transit, which was eloquated quite well by the guy in the beret. And we have no rail system. In fact, we had 2 great opportunities over the past few months to get rail. We voted it down last November locally, and then Rick Scott killed it just a few months ago, the high-speed rail network that would have connected Tampa to Orlando, which would have been the first leg to a statewide high-speed rail system. So when we talk about climate change preparation or renewable energy with this administration in Tallahassee, it's like talking to a chair. You know, they're not listening. And I don't think, despite all of this depressing stuff I'm talking about, that there's a lack of long-term public policy initiatives. I think that things have to start from the ground up, and I do think that's possible. There's local things like the Transition Town Initiative that are taking place. There's a great community garden movement brewing in Tampa, no petroleum-based pesticides or delivery trucks or plastic packaging. There's this Transition Town movement that's really amazing, the Livable Tampa that's carving out a sustainable future here locally. But a lot of us talk about, is it too late? And I'm starting to think it is too late, because we're stuck with this environment that we've built here. And I think by the time that we have the money to deal with all of these things, it's going to be too late. Thank you.